Hello. Well, you know my name, it's in the thing, but it's not a video for quality, it's not a video for clicks, it is a video for a quick response. I am making this at 6:16 in the morning on the first month, the 12th day of 2017, and I am dead tired. I have not slept. Pardon my tiredness, I guess. Anyways, to business and to the point. I came back from my drive, or from dropping off someone, and I had a thought. Something I hadn't gone over, and something that a lot of people have not gone over yet, media-wise or anything else. It is something that we all expect. Excellence. Professionalism. Restraint. Skill. And people often say, like Hillary this, Hillary that. Would you have held Hillary to the same standard? And the irony of it is that she actually didn't get elected based on things she was accused of, not things she had done, but things she was accused, and only that. Narratives and things like, Benghazi and all that shit, the things that she was proven to be innocent of, she was still treated like she was guilty. Mind you, in the people's eyes, not in the court's eyes. The courts have the information, we do not. Generally, a lot of people wonder why is it that a lot of people don't have faith in government anymore. There's your answer. People don't want government to make the choice, they want government to validate them. And when it comes like things like I'm trying to think of the most dumbed down, most simplistic example I can think of. Most overt, the retardedly simplistic example. You guys compare a broken engine to a flat wheel when it comes to your standards and comparing whether or not Hillary was as bad as Trump or anything like that. Because during the elections, Trump kept on saying, like, you were just nasty, nasty. We never saw that, actually. We didn't. Never saw it. She was fatigued. She was sick. She had pneumonia. But you guys push the narrative and this propaganda bullshit that she was having a brain aneurysm or something. When people were mentioning how Trump was mentally ill, he started talking about how she was mentally ill, started bringing up fake records. Alex Jones was spreading propaganda and other horseshit. Breitbart.com was giving false information as well. And even Trump's own doctor contributed to that, pretending like he knew anything about Hillary's doctors, considering Hillary's doctors are, well, ranking doctors. I seriously doubt he ever met any of them. In fact, Hillary provided an entire book of her medical documents, and yet people still said that she was hiding things, while Trump provided only a laughable piece of paper that sounded almost identical to the way he talks. And yet, you guys accused her of hiding of something, of not showing enough. Trump refuses to show his tax returns. Hillary provides the tax returns for the Clinton Foundation as well as her personal ones. And you still think that she isn't showing enough. You think she's not transparent enough. I hear a lot about how these emails were incriminating and all that stuff. Pay to play was the thing that they said. But when I looked at the information, I saw something very similar to what would most commonly be referred to as Pizzagate, where people take a look at the emails, they nitpick and cherry pick things, and like they look at emails and they see the word pizza and they think it's code word for something. And yet you guys still think it's a thing. At least some of you, I'm not saying all of you do, but you have to understand that when you vote for Trump, you are volunteering to be part of the horde or part of the group. And you are, as part of that group, judged by the actions of the group. Now, I hear you guys say, Hillary this, or paid Soros supporter. It's kind of ironic. I actually saw a evidence video of Trump people trying to pay Hillary supporters to break the law. So it came to bring to mind that maybe it was Trump paying people to be violent at the Trump speeches. I mean, you guys assumed that everybody was being paid or ordered to be violent in the thing because you were completely in denial about Trump's own actions on that. Even though they had it on video and they showed it to you lots and lots of times. You wanted to hold Hillary to the ethics of office before being in office. But you did not want to hold Trump to the code of ethics before being in office, because you said he was unexperienced and not a politician. Now, I really don't know how to dumb this down for a lot of you guys. It's one of those amazing things that you just can't dumb down because of how complicated it is. In the job of, well, any job really, you don't have to like the people you work with, you just work with them. The positions they're in is the kind of things where you expect people of higher rank to be of judgment to think a person is suitable for it, whether or not they like a person. You guys put what you like above what you know. You did not put him above his deeds, or you did not hold him accountable for his deeds. Instead, you made excuses. You said it was a business deal. It was a savvy business move. You tried to normalize it, tried to validate it, reward him. And you did reward him for it. So, I get you guys care more about winning than anything. You want your team to win. You signed up for Trump and then you started caring more about the Republicans winning than the Democrats. Or you could be like the rest of those asshats. They're like talking about how the Democrats were evil and shit. I remember when you guys were concerned about the United Nations invading America. I remember when you guys were concerned that he was working, that Obama was working in the interests of the intent to supplant the Saudi constitution with our own Muslim law, Shiite law, I think it was, while supporting a guy who displayed on a daily basis, undermining every aspect of the Constitution. You said Hillary flip-flopped a lot, but Trump never stopped flip-flopping. The guy flip-flopped 3 times in the same sentence. All I ever hear of you guys is how you praise him for winning. Then you try to silence the truth with that. Well, at the same time, you want the truth. At least you claim to. I start to have my doubts whether or not you actually care. I start to think that maybe you are like a dictatorship. Soldiers. You want a war. You guys really want a war. You don't know you want a war. You want to fight for your patriotism, as you call it, to take the nation back. The world, the nation is an ideal. It's an idea, a concept. Normally I would call it an Asher falling creation, which in a sense it is. But you don't understand what that term means. So I'm going to say it is a pagan system. Because the United States took up territory and colonized it, and then built a government in that territory, and then spread that throughout the territory that it has now. I hear you guys talk about how bad people are for not wanting death. You don't know it though. You don't. You say things like, it's really bad that politicians go to school to learn to be polite. Praising blatant pro-war aggression. I was listening to Trump's Secretary of State pick. It was like, I heard during the Trump campaign, or during the elections, how people were worried that Hillary would make a mega corporation. It's kind of funny. That's exactly what Trump is doing right now. I made a video earlier, I'm not sure if I posted it. It was going over all the things that you people voted against, but now you're getting it. It is not a bad thing to have standards. If I go to McDonald's, I expect my food to be cooked and with a level of freshness that is without fungus, without decay, without a lot of things. Primarily, I want it to have juicy, delicious, and filling flavor. Something that I would want to come back to. Something worth my money. Generally it is. But they have their own standards. They have the regulations that you people have demonized. Hold on. And then back. I had to deal with an interruption. These regulations, when I was young, we didn't have air conditioning. Before I was born, people used asbestos and oven mitts. Toxins was aplenty. People didn't realize smoking could kill you. These are all things that regulations have minimized and done away with. Because now they have to have warning labels. They make sure very painfully clear that people are risking their lives by smoking. And asbestos isn't used anymore. It's toxic. Of course, it's cheap. You guys don't really understand that these regulations exist to protect you. Sure, it would be good for business. Cheaper materials. You get to pay people less. Get to cut corners more. Don't have to worry about people's safety or anyone suing you. Not having regulations is a pretty damn good thing for a business. I mean, you don't have to worry about child labor laws. You don't have to worry about the regulations that maintain the size and limitations of weight on vehicles to ensure bridges can handle it, or that bridges don't go overweight, or that they don't take too much height and hit the traffic lights. This amazing amount of safety precautions put into that have to be certified before being released to the public. The anti-gouging laws that work to protect us from getting charged too much at the pump. Granted, you know, there's still the honor system, but that's your fault. That's not the government's fault. Government can only do so much, considering they're just a bunch of politicians designed to make policies for other people to enforce. People, on the other hand, though, those people, that's where the rump is. That's where the complicated thing is. Then you have to make more policies and such. You know, I do research in a lot of different fields, and one thing I do find in a lot of different fields is they all have policies. Politicians is like a mechanic, or a programmer, hacker, manager, or CEO, or janitor, or their titles to certain professions. But you guys tend to demonize them. It's easy to demonize them. Especially when you don't know the difference. Lady once told me that if I had a hard time finding something, I should just tell her. Which was ironic because I was telling her. That's what I mean. I told a lady that, you know, like I was really proud of her rules that she made, except the ones that say, you know, like treat others as you want to be treated, because then you expect people to understand what they're treating others is different than the way they would want to be treated, or vice versa, and so on and so forth. It mostly comes down to whether or not a person knows what they're doing. I have to reflect on that, define it. Can't expect people to know it. Can't expect people to understand it. White nationalist terrorism. I took a look at the gun violence statistics and I saw that there was a lot of white violence. More of which than blacks, by far. But the thing is that statistically, you know, you try to level out the battlefield. I know the numbers. It's difficult because the ratios and become more sensitive as the numbers get higher. It's difficult to minimize that, but you don't understand the difficulties. I have had so many conversations with people that just do not understand the intricacies of policy making. They try to dumb it down so far to say, hey, it's simple, see, I can do it. They throw out a thing called no drama. But then it comes to a point of what is drama? What point does drama become a facet in which somebody else can use to hide behind? Or, you know, what qualifies as drama? Is it something that stresses or is it just the fact that you're talking about somebody stressing? So then it comes a point like if you are complaining about drama, then being about something stressful, then any little thing is practically everything that can be stressful at any time. Doesn't leave much for conversation. Things have to be defined. Defining it is a difficult part. But it means a lot of typing. A lot of words. But you guys demonize them. What you do is you say that they are against the people because they are against the 1%. You say they are against the 99% because they are against the 1%. But you don't know you're saying that. What you word it as is that they are against big business and rich people. And that hurts big business, and therefore it hurts jobs. But what you don't understand about that equation is that if you want to give the rich people more breaks, less regulations, that hurts the poorer people who can't defend themselves. That makes it harder. Because regulations was a self-sufficient system. It was a means in which somebody would come in and make sure every so often, to the best of their ability, that this system was working in full functionality, fairly. It wasn't perfect because there was limitations. They can't be looking over everyone's shoulder all the time. But they can stop in every so often and make sure things haven't gotten too far. It's not perfect, but it's not too overbearing, and it is something that is manageable on a large, semi-large scale. It really depends on how much manpower you have. But what you don't understand is that giving people more freedom to walk over you means less regulations, and ergo you are against the 99% because you are making it easier for the 1% to take everything from you. You have standards with the way of selective hearing. You don't want one thing, but you'll vote for Trump and protect him for doing substantially worse. I'm tired. I listened to a story of a guy who was against the Democrats. He didn't like it that some of the liberal media was using what he thought to be clickbait. Ironically, what ended up happening later on was that he posted a video about Alex Jones interfering on the set of TYT without being invited, and then tried to say TYT was falling apart. I saw a video of that same person saying that Kent was fired when he was really on vacation. I hear people talk about fake news, but then I hear them talking about how Muslims celebrated 9/11. You have no evidence. You only have the word of one lunatic, Trump. And you hate the CIA because they don't back it up. We have standards based in reality. You have standards defined by us based in reality without understanding what those values of the application of those standards are. So you apply it to only when you see fit, and only when it benefits you. Only when it benefits your agenda. When it benefits your candidate. He'll violate the things. He's already violating them. You didn't vote for Hillary because you were worried about the emails. Well, congratulations. I see General Flynn is currently on the news. He is in front of the Senate. And ironically, he actually mishandled classified information and gave it to the enemy. The CIA substantiated it and even confirmed it. It seems like you guys are allowing Trump to cover up things. I think that covers everything down to as far as I could think to describe it so that any mind could possibly understand it. If you did not understand this, then tell me about it. Until then, we hold standards in reality, and we hold Trump to the standards befitting of the office, whether or not he is a politician. He is in the seat of a politician, and therefore you would not want your mailman working on your car. You would hold anybody working on your car, making your foods at the restaurant, or, well, any place you go to doing their job. You expect them to be up to standard in skill, training, etc., etc., etc. You get the idea. And I'm just going to stop it here.